Okay, I just want to run through the semicircle. So basically, you've got the circle, which is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. If you make y the subject and you bring the x squared over to the other side, because it's plus x squared, it becomes minus x squared. When you square root the other side, you get plus or minus the square root of r squared minus x squared. You cannot square root the separate r squared and the x squared because it's separated by a minus, so just be aware of that. So you basically have these two equations. Y equals the square root of r squared minus x squared, and y equals minus the square root of r squared minus x squared. Now, the whole circle, x squared plus y squared equals r squared, would have a radius, the radius of r, and a centre of 0, 0. Now, 1/2 of this circle, the top half there, for example, that half of the circle, that is just the square root of r squared minus x squared. So that's just one branch of this circle. And the minus, like if you look at the bottom half here, that represents y equals minus the square root of r squared minus x squared. So you can draw each of these separate as, like this is the one that comes underneath the circle, or the negative semicircle, and this one here represents the positive semicircle. Okay, now further on that, I'll just do that one in green because then it matches a bit nicer. There you go. Further on that, the domain of this one here would be between minus r, and the range, you can see the range starts at 0 and goes up to r, so from 0 up to r, whereas the domain and range of this other one here would be, the domain is minus r to r, and the range is from minus r to 0. Because if you look at where it goes from 0 down to minus r for the range, and for the domain, it goes along here from minus r to r. So this is minus r to r, and the other one is 0 to r for the range. Okay, so if you're going to sketch like y equals the square root of 9 minus x squared, then basically the radius will equal the square root of the 9, which will be 3. It's the positive half of the semicircle, like that. Now, if you had to find the domain of this, the domain would be minus 3 to 3. Because you can see from here it goes from minus 3 to 3. And the range goes from, you can see it goes from the 0 up to 3. So the range would be from 0 up to 3. Now, is this 1 to 1, 1 to many, many to 1, or many to many? So if you look at this here, and you did, like if you did a horizontal line here, you can see that the y value has many x values. But if you draw it downwards, then it just cuts at once. All right, so it's actually many x's for one y value. So it's many to 1. Okay, it is also a function. It is a function because it passes the vertical line test. And it is also an even function because f of x equals f of minus x. It has symmetry. It's symmetry about the y-axis. So if you fold it in half, you get exactly the same thing. So if you put in minus 2, you get the same as if you put in positive 2. Okay, so let's just sketch y equals minus the square root of 4 minus x squared. And so if you look at that, that's going to be below. The radius would be the square root of 4, which is 2. Okay, the domain would be minus 2 to 2. And the range would be minus 2 to 0, because it goes from the bottom one and up. Okay, it is, yeah, that's about it.